Helpful for life.
Oh, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your... Okay, that's probably enough of that. So you've already learned a little bit about how cooking is important for flavor and making sure that the food is safe to eat and also helps you digest a little bit. But what are all the different methods that you can use to cook? Now, I'm not going to give you a full-on scientific definition of every different type, but we should give you a pretty good idea of what they are. So if you see them in a recipe or you hear about it as someone tells you how to make something, you'll know what to do. Well, it turns out there's two big buckets that they fall into. You have your moist cooking and your dry cooking. Let's talk about moist cooking first. So with moist cooking, you're using liquid either directly or indirectly through steam to cook whatever it is that you're trying to cook. The first one of those methods is called blanching. And that's where you have a pot of water that's boiling and you drop something into it, but then you take it out pretty quickly after and dump it into an ice bath to immediately stop it from cooking. One fun example of something you might blanch is a tomato. If you blanch a tomato after you cut a small little X in the bottom, you can easily peel the skin off of it. The next method is boiling. 212 degrees Fahrenheit is when water boils. And you may have a different type of boil based on how long your water's been heating up. If you see a lot of bubbles and they're very violent, that's what's called a rolling boil. A couple things that you may want to boil are pasta or eggs. Then we have a simmer. A simmer still will have some bubbles in it, but nowhere near as violent as a boil is. And that's from roughly 180 degrees Fahrenheit to 212 degrees. You simmer a lot of things. Anytime you make a sauce or a soup or something like that, a lot of times you will simmer something in order to help the flavors all combine together. And sometimes if you simmer something uncovered, you'll use that as a way to reduce the liquid. So that's a good way to thicken a sauce or intensify the flavors in a liquid. Then you have something called poaching. And that's somewhere between roughly 160 and 180 degrees. The most popular thing to be poached is probably eggs, but you can also poach something like fish. That way you can cook the fish without it being knocked around by all the violent bubbles of boiling. Then there's stewing. Now stewing is similar to simmering, but it usually has a little bit less liquid, and that liquid is probably used later on as a sauce. Think of it like a very chunky soup. Then there's something called braising. And braising is when you simmer large cuts of meat in a small amount of liquid in a covered dish. A big popular example of this is something called braised beef. Then you have what's called the slow cook. Now, slow cooking is usually accomplished by an electronic device that sits out on your counter for anywhere from 30 minutes to all day. It's basically just a pot with a lid that has an electronic heating element underneath it. You can use it for making things like dips, or you could use it to braise things and make stews. It really can do all kinds of things. Our favorite thing to do with the crock pot is make shredded meats. You can dump in some chicken thighs and just pour some salsa right on top of it, cover it and let it cook, and then you'll have some delicious shredded chicken.
A method that is similar to using a slow cooker is sous vide. To sous vide, you put your food in a plastic bag, suck the air out, and then cook it in a water bath that is held at a constant temperature. Now, this technically could be a moist or dry method depending on what you put in the bag, but we thought it best to go next to slow cook. We'll talk a little more about sous vide in the cooking protein section.
The last of the moist methods is steaming. Now this is the most gentle of the methods because the liquid isn't directly touching the food. And another cool thing is that it actually preserves a lot of the nutritional value of the food because it is one of the gentler methods. Also an interesting fact, you can steam using a wide variety of heat sources, whether it be in your oven or in the microwave or on the stove or on the grill. As long as you have some liquid in a pot or a pan with a little bit of separation from your food, maybe in a basket or something that keeps the food out of the liquid, you can steam something. We had a little $5 microwavable gadget that we got from Bed Bath & Beyond, and it was great for steaming all kinds of veggies. And you could also use it to make spaghetti in your fridge. And you could also use it to make spaghetti in the microwave. It was actually quite a helpful tool.